What is happening, you wonderful people? So, with October flying by and a new month for movies finally ending, we had a month full of movies that I thoroughly enjoyed, and a lot of movies that really surprised me. There were about 7 films in total, I think, this month. I was going to watch one more, but I did not get a chance to watch it. So, without further ado, let's talk about it. So coming in at last place is a film that I wasn't over the top disappointed by, but I was thoroughly disappointed by. And I waited for this movie for 2 years. It was shelved and it was not talked about for about 2 years. Salem's Lot. Look, it's a funny thing because I have never seen the original movie from the 70s. I never saw the TV series. I never read the book. And I'm not even the biggest Stephen King fan. But something about this film being shelved and not being talked about for these 2 years, 2+ years, I was intrigued. I was very interested in this film and I wanted to know why no one was talking about it, why it was shelved. So my anticipation grew for this film. And I was very excited for this film. And I gotta say, it's not a horrible film. I mean, it is the worst of this month, the worst of October, but it's not the worst film of the year, not the worst film I've ever seen. It's not it's not a bad movie by any means. It's just middle of the road. It's just okay. And, Lewis Pullman's great. The other actors are fine, I guess. And I do feel like, though, the acting is not stellar in this film. I do feel like it is pretty bad. The plot is maybe interesting at times, but familiar and generic. A movie we've seen before. And I was kind of worried when I heard it was going to streaming, and not theaters because it got a theatrical release, but they moved it to streaming, and I was like, ooh, I don't know about that. I don't know how. I wasn't too worried about it, which is interesting which is weird because this is a movie I was hyped for. I don't know if I'd say hyped, but I just something about it just didn't work. And the atmosphere is great. The tone was pretty consistent, but again, it's a movie we've seen all the before, so the tone you've seen before, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? And it's just there are some good things about it, but there's also some bad things about it, and that's why Salem's Lot is number 7, last place for this month of October. And coming in at number 6 is a movie that is a sequel to a movie that I never watched, and now after seeing this movie is a movie I will never watch. And if they make sequels or spin-offs, I will never watch them. If they make TV shows or series, I will never watch them. Smile 2. I went into this film knowing what to expect, but also not knowing what to expect because I never saw the first one, but I've seen clips of the first one, so I kind of knew what was going to happen, what was going to go on in this film. Let me just say, this is a really well done film. It's a very well done film, from the directing, from the atmosphere, from the color grading, and just the tone and the score. The score is my favorite thing about this film. But this is going to kind of come off as like, what's the word I'm trying to think of? What's the word? It starts with a B. I can't think of what it's called, but y'all know. I think y'all know what I'm trying to say. This is one of, if not the most, especially this year, grotesque, most unsettling, most nerve-wracking, the scariest film I've seen this year, and really ever. And I was standing in line at my advanced screening, waiting to walk into my screening when I saw it a couple weeks ago. And I was just looking at my phone, and I remember I read articles, and people on Twitter saying, "Oh, this is the scariest movie of the year." It is. It is really the scariest movie of the year. And I was like, no. The trailers weren't that great in my opinion, and the trailers didn't scare me. It really is. I'm telling you. And people were saying that Naomi Scott, this is her performance, and this is Oscar worthy. And I was like, really? For a movie like this, for a movie at this caliber, really? Yeah, it is. And besides it being grotesque and just so unsettling, like I mentioned earlier in the beginning, it's a very well done film. Like I mentioned, the score is great. Um, the atmosphere is great. The tone is great. The directing, color grading, all of that stuff is amazing. So Smile 2 is number 6 for me. It's just way too grotesque for me, and I was not expecting that. But number 6, Smile 2. And number 5, another movie I had no expectations for, Piece by Piece. I walked out of this film really enjoying it, but it grew on me. And I think it's going to continue to grow on me. And I expected that to happen. And, it's cool. You have Pharrell Williams, his life story, and you have Legos. And Pharrell Williams is a big staple, a big name in the music industry in the world. And I love his music, I really do. And Legos, I know for me and probably all y'all, is a big staple for all of us when we were like little, for our childhoods. And to mix both of those is just genius in a way. I think it's really interesting. And I am a fan of the first Lego movie. I love that movie. Second one, I don't like that film. Lego Batman, I don't love like everyone else. Lego Ninjago, I thought was meh. But yeah, Piece by Piece, it's a story about struggle. It's a story about not giving up. It's a story about finding yourself, and it's a story about reaching that goal, that ultimate goal that you want and that you have a drive for. And the music's great, and they show the minions in there, which is pretty cool. And yeah, it's just my theater, the advanced screening I went to, they were all enjoying it, and I had fun with it. I thought Piece by Piece was pretty good. And number 4, this is gonna kind of be controversial in a way, maybe not. Joker 2, Joker Folie Ado. I am someone who only watched the first Joker once back in 2019 in theaters. I haven't seen it fully since then. And, I wasn't really excited for this film, but I saw the trailers and I was like, ooh, I'm actually really looking forward to this. So I walked in and I had a blast with this film. Now, it's not a perfect film, but I do think it is one of the best films of the year, in my opinion. I do, however, like I like the first film. I don't love it though. Like I do think the first one is significantly better than this one, but some of the musical cues or moments in this film work, but at the same time, some of them don't. Like I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, that musical moment worked. That's cool. 5 minutes, 5 seconds later, another musical cue works, and I'm like, don't think that worked for me. I feel like they should have had a musical moment or a musical cue and waited about 20, 15, 30, maybe even 35 minutes till the next one. I don't know. That's just me. It just felt random at times, you know what I mean? And Lady Gaga's Harley Quinn was amazing. She really was. But I think that she was not fleshed out enough. I feel like we needed to know more about her. She did not have enough screen time in this film. So therefore, their dynamic in the film, Joker and Harley, was good, but it wasn't amazing because we didn't get enough time with both of them. You know what I mean? So Joker 2 is number 4. Joker Folie Do is number 4 for me. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and a lot of people didn't, but I had fun with it. And number 3, a movie I was not planning on seeing, a movie that I had no expectations for. Walked in, walked out, and was like, holy crap, Conclave. Oh my gosh, this movie. Ray Fiennes, Stanley Tucci, John Lithgow. It's a phenomenal film. There's nothing else more I can say. John Lithgow doesn't have much to do in this film. He's not in it much, but Stanley Tucci is, and Ray Fiennes. He truly is probably going to get an Oscar nomination or Oscar for this film. Like I think the concept about in real life too, because this movie's not based on a true story, but it's things that happen in real life. Like what happens when the Pope dies and what they have to do in order to select a new Pope. And it's intense. It's intense. And, it's about finding your faith and what to do if you lose that faith and just not knowing what to do in those situations and struggling in that moment. And it's a beautiful film. And maybe it's a little too long, and maybe it could get bogged down at times, but there's never a dull moment in this film. The acting is superb. The dialogue is amazing in this film. The score is amazing, and the score feels like one of those sounds like one of those violins that is so fast paced, and it takes place in Rome in modern times. And my review is up, by the way. I posted it about 5 days ago, so go check that out. Go like that video if y'all haven't yet. But it's just a beautiful film, and I don't know if I want to say, well, it is a beautiful film. It is a beautiful film. Yeah, go check out Conclave if y'all haven't. It is really good, like top tier. Not top 10 film. It won't be a top 10 film of the year, but I think I have it at number 20 right now. So it is top 20, but it's good. And at number 2, a movie I had expectations for. A lot of people aren't enjoying, but some people are. And I'm sad that it's over, the trilogy, but Venom the Last Dance. I love the first 2 Venom films. I love this film. If I had to rank them, again, my Venom the Last Dance review is up too. If y'all haven't seen that or watched that video, go like that video. Posted it last week. I think it was sometime last week. The second one is my favorite, and then the first one, and then this one. I think this one is the weakest of the 3, but they are setting up Noel, and Noel he's a threat. I will tell you that. He doesn't have much. He doesn't have any. He barely has any screen time in this film. He probably has like 30 seconds of screen time or something like that. But my negatives with this film is just like my one negative with the second film is the pacing. It's way too fast, I feel like this one is way too fast as well, but the pacing is better than the second one, in this film. So the pacing, and also I feel like they are setting up Noel, but at the same time, it's unclear if they are. And also, I can't think of my other 2 negatives, but I know that it feels like they're setting up Noel, but at the same time, I'm not too sure, and the pacing's not super tight, tighter than the second movie. But the humor's great, the dynamic between these 2 characters is great, the action's great. And you have fun in these movies. Are they perfect? No, they're not. But the Venom movies are supposed to be fun, So number 2, Venom: The Last Dance, and number 1, a movie I was not planning on watching. Another movie I had no expectations for, but a movie that I am absolutely in love with, and a movie that I cannot wait to watch again, and a movie that I cannot wait to watch with others, and a movie I cannot wait to talk about with people. Saturday Night. I am a huge fan of Jason Reitman, what he did with the recent Ghostbuster films. A lot of people don't like those ones, but I thoroughly enjoyed them. You could tell in this film, Jason Reitman has watched his dad, and God rest his soul, Ivan Reitman, made one of the best movies ever made, Ghostbusters. God rest his soul. You could tell Jason watched his dad make movies. And you could tell he got that inspiration and motivation in that way, if that's how you want to say it, from him. You could tell he learned from him by watching him, and you can feel in this film the stress and chaos just radiate off the screen, and the aesthetic, it feels like it's in the 70s, and it is one of the funniest movies of the year, one of the funniest movies I've ever seen in my life. The guy who plays Chevy Chase is brilliant. Dan Aykroyd is played by Dylan O'Brien, who is brilliant in this film. The guy who plays Lorne Michaels, who's the creator of SNL, is great. Jim Henson's hilarious in this, and just everything about this film. J.K. Simmons and Willem Dafoe are great in this, and all the other actors, they're all great in this film. And it's just a cacophony, just a mixture of chaos but it works, and like I said, it's funny, and it's one of my. I did not expect it to be in my top 10 films of the year, and I don't know if it'll stay. I have a feeling it will, but it's a great movie. Saturday Night, if you have not watched it yet, please go watch it in theaters. It'll be on streaming soon. I don't know when, but Saturday Night is great. So that'll wrap up this video. Thank y'all so much for watching. If you're new to the channel, do not forget to subscribe. We are at 515 subs right now. Next milestone is 600. We just hit 500 the other day, so it's a big milestone, really big milestone. And then 7, 8, 9, and then 1K, and then beyond that. I'm grateful for all y'all. I'm happy y'all are here. Thank y'all for always watching. And if you're new to the channel as well, I do movie reviews, TV show reviews, trailer reactions, movie live streams, and movie news, all that wonderful stuff. Like, comment, share on this video. And little housekeeping news. I still have not watched the last 3 episodes of Agatha. I will watch those 3, and I will do a series review sometime. And I have not got a chance to go see Here, the new Tom Hanks film. I'm going to go see that eventually. So expect that review. Yeah, that's all for me for right now. Y'all comment down below and let's talk about it. Tell me, what movies did y'all like in October? What movies did y'all not like? What movies did you see? What movies did y'all not see? What's y'all's ranking? I want to know down below. Keep talking movies, my wonderful people. Cheers.